What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, we got to deal in some truth. Hard video for me to do. Disappointing video for me to do. But I got to deal in the truth. One of my favorite fighters, undefeated two-division world champion, former two-time WBC super middleweight, WBC light heavyweight, and WBA light heavyweight interim champion, David the Ecuadorian Mexican monster Benavidez, who is now 31 wins, no loss, no draw, 25 wins by way of knockout, after his destructive victory over a British superstar title contender, Anthony Yarde, last night, where he stopped Anthony Yarde, dropped him twice and stopped him, and in the 7th round, David Benavidez announces that he's essentially vacating his belts at 175. Now, he's competed at 175 for about 4 fights, right? He beat Alexander Gazdik, he beat David Morrell, and he beat Anthony Yarde. So 3 fights at 175, right? And David Benavidez is in line to have a big fight with the top 2 kings at 175 pounds in Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol, who only suffered losses to each other. That's the only losses that Artur Beterbiev has is a loss to Dimitri Bivol in his last fight, and the only loss Dimitri Bivol has is the loss he had 2 fights ago to Artur Beterbiev. Now, in the case of Dimitri Bivol, he had back surgery, and that put him out of commission for a minute because he's supposed to have the trilogy with Artur Beterbiev, but that fell by the wayside, right? And now he's coming back. He's going to probably do a tune-up. But His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, according to what I'm being told, he wants to make Artur Beterbiev versus David Benavidez next. That's the fight he wants to make next, right? And I don't know if there's games being played with David Benavidez with making the Artur Beterbiev fight. I'm hoping that's the case in this situation, but I don't believe it is. But David Benavidez announces that he's moving up to cruiserweight now to compete against Zurdo Ramirez in May, Cinco de Mayo. And I'm like, what? You have the biggest 2 opportunities of your career presenting itself at 175. Why would you leave 175 to go to cruiserweight, 200 pounds? There's 2 fighters at cruiserweight. 2 names, Ja Opataya and Zurdo Ramirez. And to make matters worse, Dimitri Bivol already dominated and outclassed Zurdo Ramirez. He outclassed Zurdo Ramirez and dominated Zurdo Ramirez. So his only loss came at Artur Beterbiev, and he avenged that loss. He beat Canelo Alvarez. He's the former undisputed champion, still a unified champion. Why would you leave that opportunity where you can have 2 fights at 175 and beat the 2 best fighters at 175 and solidify your legacy as one of the greatest fighters in history? That'll make you an undisputed champion, right? Why would you vacate that opportunity? Why would you squander, and it hit me. Because the thing is, he moves up to 175. I mean, to 200 pounds. He ain't coming back 25 pounds down to 175. And so it dawned on me, right? It's the weight cut. It's the weight cut. He don't want to have to cut the weight. Period. So we seen the lack of discipline. It's the lack of discipline in between fights for David Benavidez. We seen how heavy he was in between his last fight and this fight. He was super out of shape. And I love David Benavidez. And hopefully he don't go this route. But he was super out of shape. Super out of shape. Okay? And he go to 200 pounds. He ain't coming back down no 25 pounds to 175. No, sir. So because you have an addiction to food, you are sacrificing your career, David. That's the truth of the matter. Your food addiction is sacrificing your career. Because there's two fighters at 175, at 200 cruiserweight, and neither one of them is big names like Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. Those are two Hall of Famers. Zerto already lost to Bivol, and Jao Bataille hasn't proven anything. He's proved absolutely nothing. And then David said he's motivated to move to heavyweight because there's no weight cut. There's no weight cut at 200 pounds. Heavyweight. And it's disappointing that this is the route he's going, because he's leaving meat on the bone. Because he's not disciplined to stay away from the table, the food table. Period. That's what it boils down to. I'm disappointed because I know that's what it is. Unless Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol are playing games where they like, nah, I ain't gonna fight him in this, and this. That could be the case. If that's not the case, and it's simply because of what? The weight cut. To make 175 and stay disciplined in between fights. From now until he fights, let's say Artur Beterbiev, this is the holidays coming, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. From now until he fights Artur Beterbiev, who stays in shape year round, or Bivol who stays in shape year round, they probably won't fight until March. He's going to balloon up to at least 200. I'm sure he's going to be at least 220. 215, easy. He rehydrated at 190, over 190, just rehydration. So imagine just not being disciplined, not focus on what you're eating and watch what you're eating for 4 months. David, don't do this to your career, man. As a huge fan and advocate of you and a fan of yours, don't do this to your career, champ. Don't do it to your career, man. Fight the table instead of taking the easy route. It's easier to move up in weight and say, hey, I got 25 pounds. I ain't got to cut 25 pounds. See, from light heavyweight to cruiserweight is 200 pounds. So that's 25 pounds he don't have to cut. So let's say he ballooned up to 220. He only got to cut 20 pounds in camp. Don't do it, man. That's the easy route. You ain't coming back down. And if you did do it and come back down, it's going to hinder you against Artur Beterbiev or Dimitri Bivol. And those are legacy fights you get ready to leave on the table because of the table. But let me know what y'all think, man. Drop a comment in the comment section. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. It's your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.